In 1973, early in the year, Pamela and I were not yet married, and I moved into an apartment. And there's nothing wrong with the place at all, but it was at a season in my life when I wasn't doing that well in the Lord. It's not that I was necessarily doing anything nastier than normal. I just hadn't been hearing much from God, didn't have much of a sense of His immediate presence in my life. And so I'd put money down on this apartment. I think it was like a $200 deposit. And in those days, might we say, goodness, over 30 years ago, that somehow sounds wrong. My father says that. I don't think I should be able to say that. But 200 smacks was a lot of ducats in those days. So I'd put down this deposit, and I remember I hadn't even moved, well, I'd moved all my stuff in. It was 2 cardboard boxes and my suitcase. I'm sitting on the edge of this bed, and just out of the blue, I sensed the Lord make it clear to me, this isn't the place to stay. It wasn't that there was some horrible thing going on in the apartment next door. I don't think there had been any prior occult activities up in one of the closets or anything strange like that. I just felt like the Lord said, not here. But I know the reason He was saying not here wasn't because I had done something wrong. It was simply one of those times in my spiritual life that you will encounter also, when the Lord wanted to know, will you follow me regardless of where I ask you to go? Will you just be obedient, like the children of Israel following the cloud, the pillar of fire, and they didn't move until it moved, but whenever it did move, they would go ahead and move as well. And so here I was, no rhyme or reason as to why. Will you say yes and move out of this place? Now I wanted to say, well, you kind of told me a week ago, I wasn't up, you know. But when God presses you with this opportunity to really, are you going to walk away or are you going to come with me? It's almost as though the Lord says, I'm leaving now. Will you come? And when He does that, your mouth just falls silent. And I didn't understand why, and I said okay. And so I determined I would tell the landlord I needed to move out. And I'd like to tell you the story ended by me saying, well, the Lord spoke to me, and the landlord said, well, of God, then here, have your deposit back. I didn't get my deposit back. I didn't tell the landlord that God spoke, but I knew that He did. And though that's not a very interesting story, I've milked it for all the plot that it has. Okay, it's not that interesting of a story. It's no earth-shattering kinds of thing. But in my life, I would mark that as maybe one of the top 5 spiritual experiences of my life. Because I learned then that life in God is a series of saying yes to Him all over again. I use the word enlisting, re-enlisting. And if you're not a military person, that doesn't mean much to you, that's fine. But I will choose, Lord, I will go with you. And when we come to these times, these seasons in our life, we always get a chance to say, okay, Lord, here I go.